All right, sorry about that. Technical difficulties, eh? Hopefully, yes! Woo! I was worried there. Apparently it's the dongle. Always have a backup on your backup. So hi everybody, I'm Chris. I'm a developer advocate at Vega. You might have seen us around. It's hard to miss. We've got these bright yellow hoodies, awesome swag. Don't worry, there'll be plenty of opportunity to get some more of that. At the end of this session, they very kindly extended it for me. At the end of this session, there'll be a bit of a Q&A if there's time. And anybody who wants to come and get some swag, you can come talk to one of the people in the bright yellow hoodies, and they will give you a coaster, and you can take that to the booth on P20 to select some awesome swag. So very quickly, the agenda for today was supposed to be a little bit about Vega, all the core technical aspects, as the MC said, one-on-one on Vega. I'm a little bit pushed for time, but hopefully I'll get through all of this quite quickly. So what is Vega? Vega is a scaling layer or a hybrid DEX built on a proof-of-stake protocol that bridges to all major blockchains, starting with Ethereum. It's a great conference. I'm loving it so far, and Ethereum and Vega are really, really close because you get the power of Ethereum and the store of value and all the ecosystem, and you can bridge that over into Vega and deploy those assets and trade in leveraged products such as futures, swaps, etc. Very easily. It's the world's first open protocol for creating flexible derivatives, and it includes a list of impressive features such as anti-front running, permissionless market creation, and fast decentralized limit order books. Today, network-wise, you can start hacking on the official Vega testnet called Fairground right away, especially if you're thinking of competing in one of our 4 different bounties. The Fairground is bridged to Ropsten for ERC20 assets. As we mentioned before, we love Ethereum. It provides a safe place for experimentation and building whilst learning about the protocol. So most of the things I talk about today will be all about Fairground, but in a second I'll talk to you a little bit about the progress of the project and where we are with the community. So on Fairground, all trading features are enabled, and there are several markets and bots trading, so that will hopefully get you into the place where you want to be without having to risk a lot of collateral. In December 2021, a group of community-elected validators launched a restricted mainnet. The purpose of this phase is to secure the network before trading is enabled in the near future. The Vega's network architecture. This is a little bit different, but we came up with this protocol in a way that we wanted to tailor our solution for trading derivatives, not creating a general purpose blockchain and then trying to fit that in. We wanted to create this solution that was just fine-tuned for this. So Vega has a decentralized network architecture, and each node contains a full stack of engines in the trading core, which includes matching, settlement, risk, collateral, banking, transfers, everything you need to run a DEX on each of the nodes. So even if one of the validators or one of the data nodes gets taken out, all of the other nodes, they have the full stack. I mean, you can think about this. If we took the consensus layer off the top, you could just use one of these nodes as a SEX. It'd be worth millions in itself, maybe. Vega uses CQRS, so write commands such as placing an order are submitted on the blockchain, and they take part in consensus along with other commands. When a block is formed, its guaranteed ordered set of commands are sent to each trading core and processed deterministically. So every node gets a batch of transactions and processes them in exactly the same order. All code will eventually be open source, and that hopefully the community can benefit from all of our research. Most of our code is open source, but some of this is still proprietary research, but it's all going to be out in the community over the next year or so. One of the talented teams at Vega are building a trading app that gives a really rich visual UI for all the trading data that's on Vega, and we're calling this Console. I mean, you can create your own, but we've built this to get you speeded up pretty quickly. I'll give you a little demo right now. So Fairground Console, as shown, is a helpful tool for developing against the Vega APIs. You'll be able to see your orders, positions, and margin changes right here in the browser. The other super useful feature is that it actually includes the features to load up your Vega wallet with the bridged ERC20 test assets we've set up, such as TDAI, TUSD, etc. And you can just connect them straight into your Fairground testnet wallet using something like MetaMask. It's very familiar. Now, this is the bit I'm super interested in as a developer advocate. We've got to build on Vega. We've got these 4 amazing bounties worth up to 30,000 USDC. And I'm really hoping that some people have already started hacking on this. I've had lots of interest so far. We're going to go through really, really quickly some of the key features, but there's so much more, so much more. So do come and see me, chat to me on Discord, Telegram, wherever you'd like. After this, I've got so much time for anybody wanting to hack on this and dream up some new solutions. One of the first things that you need to think about on Vega, because it's a scaling solution or a L1 hybrid, is that we have our own command line wallet. So this has been available for a long time now, and it's super easy to use if you're used to using the terminal, etc. You need this to sign transactions on Vega, but when you lock up assets in the bridge, they're available within your wallet, and they're assigned to your public key. As I said, you can do that in console. That's super easy. There are other ways to do that. The community have built some tools so that if you have other wallets, you can connect in through some portals. Do ask me about that afterwards. So inside the Vega wallet is a REST-based API service. It can be used to connect third-party apps locally or, if you want, in a private environment in the cloud. And it allows people to really easily connect and sign any transactions or commands like I showed in the CQRS. Just for ETH Denver, here on the screen, I've teased a little bit of something that the community is desperate for, which is almost ready for prime time. It's our desktop wallet. So those that aren't familiar with the command line, aren't wanting to just run simple commands or whatever, they can just run a GUI app on all top-level operating systems. And this little preview of how nice it looks, and again, fits in with our branding. So one of the experiences you get with Vega is that you can code almost like a CEX. If you're used to connecting to big CXs or even some DEXs, you can connect to Vega in data nodes in various different ways. There's 3 different types of API. We have gRPC, super fast bidirectional streaming, etc. GraphQL, building a web app, a dashboard, something like that, or even just trying to build a mobile app and be expressive. That's a really great one to do. That includes streaming. Or if you just want to fire up a curl or just do something really quick and easy and get some data out there and mash it up with something else, we have REST as well. And all data nodes support all 3 of these. If you're running your own data node, you can turn them off or on depending on your memory usage. So my advice for this would be if you're running something like a bot or writing something that needs very high performance, gRPC is the top level. If you're writing something that's similarly performant, but is maybe web-based, it might be easier at the current point with the tooling to use GraphQL. That's not to do with Vega, that's just the way that gRPC works. You have to run a proxy, etc. But obviously there's just REST, everybody knows REST and they like that. Disadvantage with REST is that you probably have to do some kind of shoehorning in WebSockets to connect to the GraphQL subscriptions. In the past, I've just advised use an Apollo subscriptions client or something like that. As you can see here, we've got different data sets, so things like trades, candles, orders, positions. Within Vega, everything is transparent. So this is just, you might have seen our Free the Markets thing. Everything is completely open and free. So you don't have a disadvantage in some respects to other people. This data is all available, and there's several references for Fairground available on the screen. There's plenty of options. If you go to vega.xyz, it'll link you straight through to that. You can go directly to the docs link shown on the screen, and that will take you to a list of really helpful API guides and other tools that you can do there. So I want to show you some code. I'm not going to live code, I'm just going to show you how it works. It's a pretty good thing given my technical problems. I'm going to show how easy it is to create orders as commands, how fast the blockchain is, and how to amend them and how to cancel them in a really super easy script. So if you go to this repo, you can get access to this and lots more. So here's a Visual Studio Code. I'm just showing different things about the code itself. First is connecting to the wallet service that I mentioned earlier. You sign in, you get a token. Find a market you're looking for, one of the markets on testnet. We get the blockchain time so that we're synced with the time available. And then we create this command, which is pretty succinct, to submit an order. You give it your own unique reference. You sign it and send it to the blockchain for consensus and inclusion in the next block. We're going to wait for the blockchain just to make sure it's included. And then in this simple script, we amend it. We change the size to 25 less and the price down to 2. We wait again. We confirm that it passed. And then there are various options for cancellation, but we just take the easy route, which is just to cancel that order that we passed in with a reference. And then that's it. That's as simple as a script. There's a lot of comments in there, but you can probably do a submit order in 3 or 4 lines. That simple. And this is Python. Might be even more succinct in another language. So here's me running the script. I've got a little sleep in here so you can see what's happening. That's a submission, that's an amendment, and that's a cancellation. And that's how quick it is. That's literally all 3 operations, all through consensus, all taking place. And if I'd have actually matched on that top order, I wouldn't have been able to amend it, and I wouldn't have been able to cancel it because it would have already been matched in the matching engine. And that can happen, obviously, in the immediate first block. But in this case, it did all 3. So finally, what would be use of running a trading platform or a DEX without having real-time data? I use it all the time. And as I said, gRPC is pretty good, but a lot of people working on our bounties, they're probably going to want to use GraphQL because it's just really easy and really succinct. And I'm going to show off something called the Vega GraphQL Playground. Some of you might have seen this as well for other projects, but we've got this all booted up, ready to go. And it's a great place to explore not only the schema, not only the data types and how they actually interact with each other because you've got autocomplete, but when you're building a tool or a bot, you can play with the queries in here ahead of time and make sure that what you're expecting comes back. Or if you've written something or you debug something in your application, you can paste that query back into here and just sanity check that data. There are other ways to do it, but this is, in my opinion, very, very easy to do. This is the GraphQL Playground. The URL was on screen. I can share that with you again. And this is real-time data coming straight out of the data node. So this is a list of all parties. And on the right-hand side, you've got access to all the docs, and you can drill down into all the descriptions and all the fields, and includes all of the descriptions of what they actually do within Vega. So you almost don't need the reference docs. This is even better. And if you want to download the schema for your app, you can do it on the top right. I'm going to show you markets, getting all market data. That's something that's very common. And if you want to remove one of the fields and just get something back, it's very easy to do. You can just go in here and it gives you autocomplete, and you can just pick a field and you can graph query out from there. As I mentioned, you can subscribe to data in here. So I'm doing a trade subscription. This auto updates every second or so. And the same for orders. There is one limitation with using the Playground. There is a hard cutoff of any subscription of 30 seconds. So if you're using this to test data and you're noticing your queries are ending within 30 seconds for a subscription, don't worry, it's not a bug in Vega. It's just a limitation of this UI. If you do that query in your console app or on your own code, it will just keep streaming until you close the WebSockets. So I've mentioned it already. We've got some really awesome bounties this year. The top one, which I think a few people have already expressed interest in starting on, but still plenty of opportunities to build a block explorer. We've already built a pretty standard block explorer example, but we want to see, how far you can take it. What can you think about showing the blocks in visualization? I know Ethereum, there was a train station with people, little people going on and off the train carriages. That would be pretty cool. But there's so many things you could do there. The next one is very similar, visualizing staking and delegation. We're a proof-of-stake network with around about 50% of our tokens already staked on the mainnet. But we would love people to try and think of novel ways, perhaps, to visualize that and educate people about making sure the network is secure and not centralized. Because proof-of-stake can become centralized if people don't be careful with who they delegate to. Liquidity bots, we did a workshop yesterday, which went really well. So one of the key things that I haven't gone into, but I'd love to explain to you later in another session or after this, is around how we incentivize liquidity. So if you create a market on Vega, you need to provide liquidity, and you're actually incentivized financially to do that, which is really, really one of the core aspects of trading dexes and how we can get these things off the ground. And then the last thing is, who doesn't love spreadsheets? We'd love you just to plug in Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel as an add-in and be able to just drive around your data and visualize your data, pull up pie charts, all that sort of stuff, your positions, your orders, etc., right there in your spreadsheet. So that's it. There's a QR code on the screen to go to a launch pad, which I've put together, which has really in-deep information and criteria, as well as links to videos to give you everything you need to get started. As I've mentioned, we want you to build on Vega as if it's a centralized exchange. No solidity, none of this stuff. You just plug into an API, sign transactions, and away you go. And you get the power, the speed, and the transparency of this next-gen technology. So, without further ado, that's it. I might have a minute for questions. Again, apologies for the technicals. Okay. No questions. That's pretty good. So there's some free swag at booth P20, which we're downstairs on level 3, opposite the DJ tool room. So see me after if you've got any questions. We'd love to give you some coasters. You can exchange that for some swag. Thank you for your time. Happy building.